Good morning. Welcome to North Chapel. My name is Jenny Gelfan. I'm the service coordinator today, and I'm glad we're spending time together here in this beautiful sanctuary, rather than being in the rather moist Church of the Outdoors today. If you're visiting, please consider signing our guest book, which is at the back of the sanctuary. That's also where you'll find large print copies of the hymns and the order of service. Following the service, we have a nice coffee hour, good coffee. And also today, we're going to be having a potluck lunch followed by our annual meeting of the church community. Tatum is here to provide child care. And let's see. We have some announcements in the order of service, and Sherry's going to come and make a special announcement.
Hi, if you've become a member in the recentness, I'd like you to sign the membership book if you haven't yet. This ancient script to see me. And it's circle dinner time. It's circle dinner time. So if you don't know what it is, we meet in each other's homes over dinner, and we'll have a lunch option this time too for those who don't like to go out in the evening. It's a wonderful way to get to know each other more intimately. And so that's February 17th. It's a Saturday. Be sure to see me if you'd like to attend.
Now would also be a good time to silence any phones or other things that might disturb us during the service. Our minister, the Reverend Dr. Leon Dunkley, is on sabbatical, and in his absence, we are blessed to have many visitors to give reflections. Today's reflection will be the words of Jan Frazier. She'll be here in spirit, but she's unable because of the weather conditions south of us to get here today. But she has told me some things from her books that I have to read to you and from her blog site. So we'll do that. After today's opening words by Joy Harjo, we'll have a period of silence for meditation and prayer. Remember the sky that you were born under. Know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon. Know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn. That is the strongest point of time. Remember sundown and the giving away to night. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. You are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father. He is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are, red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth. We are earth. Remember the plants, trees, animal life, who all have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them. Listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind. Remember her voice. She knows the origins of this universe. Remember, you are all people, and all people are you. Remember, you are this universe, and this universe is you. Remember, all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember, language comes from this. Remember the dance language is, that life is. Remember. About 25 years ago, maybe a little more than that, I was living in the Brattleboro area and looking for a writing group and found one that Jan Frazier was leading. It was welcoming, supportive, inspiring really. And from that period of time, a book of her poetry, not mine, hers. Then about 5 years into the period of time that I knew her, lots of changes going on, but for her, a profound change happened. And she wrote this book, which is titled, When Fear Falls Away, The Story of a Sudden Awakening. I wish she was here to tell you more about that, because she's a warm, aware, receptive human being. It's just nice to be around her. But she's not here today, so I'm privileged to know her, and she's asked me to read some words for you since she could not make it. She has some online teachings beside these books. This is called The Weather as Teacher, written in December. How I love to see the snow falling. I moved to New England many years ago so I would finally get to experience all the seasons. I'd grown up in South Florida, where it's pretty much summer year-round. Well, the truth is, I delight in a lusty snowfall as long as it arrives on my schedule. It occurs to me just now that were a blizzard to be on the docket for tomorrow, I would be truly bummed. A happily and long anticipated musical event is in the offing. If it could just hold off snowing till I get across the state and back, that would be great. You couldn't do better for a teacher than the weather. Talk about the things we have no control over. But wouldn't it be wonderful if we did? And then there's the weather, ordinary life subjects, us too, little of which we have much say in, though we sure wish we did. I didn't have arthritis, for instance. Physicality is another fine teacher in the nature of control in its absence. In these lives of ours, there are many things we have no say in, at whose mercy, you might say, we are. The spiritual life has at its heart the tricky business of sorting one from the other, the stuff we have some say in, and the things we must simply accept. There are teachers everywhere in ordinary life, so long as you're willing to recognize them for what they are. Here's a first-rate instructor reflecting on what I want and how that might differ from what I need. Once upon a time, anything I fiercely desired, I felt I just had to have, in an almost obsessive way. Oh yes, I desperately want it not to snow tomorrow, but at least I noticed myself doing that and managed to laugh. Fortunately, my mind still works well enough to enable me to recall the thousands of times this sort of thing has happened over the years. Does any of this ring a bell in your experience? One thing to be aware of as you look at your ordinary life to see what it might reveal of your underlying beliefs and motivations is this. None of it should involve judgment of yourself. You are not a failure or a spiritual misfit for any of what goes on in your head or heart. You are simply human. This is the way we tick as people. When someone wakes up, spiritually speaking, one of the striking qualities of that condition is that all judgment has pretty much dissolved. This applies to yourself as well as looking at others. Phenomena simply are what they are. If you want to be more free on the interior than you think you are right now, judging yourself to be this or that is absolutely useless, even harmful. Gazing on yourself with critical eyes, with the wish to fix yourself, only gets in the way. If you do notice yourself in judgment of yourself or others, Realize that seeing this is a true blessing, but spare yourself the next step of judging yourself or denying any of it, or determining that you must fix yourself. All of the spiritual life is about actual reality, both on the interior and out there, in the world we engage with. If you want to wake up, it's crucial that you see this, and also that you see if you are otherwise focused, aimed at fixing yourself or others, or judging anyone, above all your dear self, for being less than perfect. If peace is what you desire most in your life, sorting out all of this can be truly catalytic. Even to be simply conscious of the several conflicts operating opens a door of possibility. Not to say it's easy, for it asks us to challenge what are likely lifelong habits and beliefs. But oh, is it worthwhile? You may, for instance, notice yourself thinking such things as, I cannot be okay unless these circumstances change for the better. Even to see yourself having such a thought can open a door. It can be incredibly freeing and illuminating to ask yourself, is that actually true? It can feel risky to question ourselves, to see what beliefs or desires might underline chronic ways of orienting to life. What if you put this to yourself during a time of torment over some life condition? Maybe I cannot do anything to improve things just now. It might turn out to be actually restful to see that. I can attest to this in my own experience, particularly since things changed on my interior many years ago. I wish you all the best in your own explorations, my friend. And now, since my oh so human back is aching a bit, I think I will be kind to myself, and maybe you perhaps. Your life is brimming full of things to do just now, and say goodbye for now. I will be back. Meanwhile, please have fun, let yourself love, yes, even your precious self. And if this is a holiday season for you, may it be glorious and blessedly free of stress. Life is short. Be gentle with yourself and with those you love. So she has a website where you know, every once in a while she puts out a teaching. And I'm going to read a little bit from this book, Love Incarnate, which is 20 years after awakening. She is sort of reflecting on some changes that have happened. So I'll read a short piece in here. Okay. I'm going to make it easier for myself. Small type. The vastness of the wide open heart. The fully awakened heart knows what it is to love unconditionally. What could be more life-altering than to come to dwell as radically fearless love? Liberated from the familiar human ache to control, to recoil from pain, wide open consciousness is felt to be boundless. Acceptance of reality is a profound door opener. There's no separation between you and whatever you're presently aware of. Consciousness itself is not apart from what it detects. If a thing is there, then perceiving human awareness is that reality. The awakened heart unflinchingly takes in what's happening. The processing mind, long prone to deny reality, to recoil from its challenges, is brought to utter quietude. Nor can the egoic human mind remotely fathom such an experience, focused as it is on orienting to ever-changing reality, busily maintaining the sense of an independent self. What typically occupies us as people is this: where am I in relation to this or that's happening? But what presupposes there is an I, and that it's apart from what's happening to it or around it? Hence, the ceaseless need to sort out how to orient to each thing as it comes along. The whole thing is exhausting. Awakening mercifully delivers a person from all of it. Talk about deliverance. Sometimes in a human life, love is confronted with hideous suffering. I once read an account by an awake person of sitting in a theater watching a film about the dropping of the atomic bombs on Japan. Containing footage of the devastation, the movie was unflinching in its close-up portrayal of the nightmare visited upon the victims of the bombing. As the viewer took in, without recoiling, the images and sounds on the screen, he became aware of something bizarre within himself. The footage seems to have brought him to a state of ecstasy. Naturally curious, he mused upon what had happened and eventually was able to account for the seeming contradiction between the pain he was witnessing and the condition of his interior. What he understood was this: when faced with that extremity of suffering inflicted by one people upon another, consciousness is asked to widen to such an unaccustomed extent, to open even beyond its familiar spaciousness, to what becomes primary. What becomes primary is not the agony and cruelty being witnessed, but the purely accepting love that is holding it all.